Hey guys, it's Simeon here. Recently I was doing some research for my book and I wanted to find a film the main character would like. And the way I work is, if there's a film or a piece of music or something like that that I'm going to put into a book, I need to actually watch it. And the film I settled on was The Craft. I've been aware of this film for a while and I thought I would like it because of the horror elements and the witchcraft and the high school setting. I'm a big Buffy fan, but I never watched it because of the reviews. It's got a 57% score on Rotten Tomatoes and I just didn't fancy watching a film reviewed that low. Now that I've actually seen it, I think it's underrated and I will tell you why. Thanks for clicking on the video. Just before we get going, I think I should give a warning that this film is a horror and it does feature some things people might find upsetting. It's got depictions of suicide, body horror and overtly racist language in one place. So I'm not going to show any of that in this review, but if you find any of those things upsetting, I wouldn't watch this video. So The Craft is a 1996 high school horror film based around 4 girls who form a coven. 3 of the girls are already there and they're already practicing magic, but not having much luck until the new girl Sarah comes to town. They quickly realise that she has magical abilities and recruit her to their coven, and they need 4 people to form this kind of north, south, east, west structure. And once they have Sarah, their magic really starts working and they begin to enact vengeance on those who have wronged them and try to put right all the things that are wrong in their life. And because this is a horror, this results in some disturbing and dark consequences. Now, if that sounds good to you, that certainly sounded good to me. I was really into this film once I realised what it was. So we'll delve a bit deeper and I'll tell you what was good about it and why it might have a low score on Rotten Tomatoes and why I think that's not quite deserved. So I'll start by saying that I really enjoyed the casting in this film. I think Robin Tunney, I hope I'm saying that correctly, does a great job as Sarah, even if her character falls into the chosen one trope quite hard at points. Hey, I just wanted to ask, are you the new girl in school? Yeah, that's me. I'm the new girl in school. Look, I don't want to be too forward or anything, but are you the girl that's the key to everything? Yes I am. How did you know that? Oh, I mean, it's really obvious. You're new in town, you're kind of sullen, you have brown hair. I mean, I just figured you'd be the key to everything. Yeah, you're right. I'm the key to everything, but don't tell anyone. My life is hard enough as it is. Yeah, I'll bet it's hard. Do you have to do loads of training to be the key to everything? No, not really. No training. I'm just kind of born that way. But I'm very tormented. Right. And you get magic powers? Yeah. Wow, that sounds like a really tough situation there. It's super hard. Next up is Fairuza Balk, who you might recognise from films like Almost Famous and American History X, and she does a great job as the punk goth girl with a chip on her shoulder. She's the leader of the group, she has an acid tongue, and she lives in poverty with her parents in a trailer park. I loved her whole deal to start with. Unfortunately, as the film goes on, her acting gets more and more over the top. I'm not sure if that was because of acting choices or how the character was written, but I think if her character Nancy was pared back, the film would have been a lot stronger for it. Next up in the group we have Rochelle, who's played by Rachel True. She's a nice girl who's subject to racist abuse from the popular girl. She's definitely a more sympathetic character than Nancy, but I didn't feel like she had quite enough character development. I would have liked to have seen a bit more for Rochelle. And then lastly is Bonnie, played by Neve Campbell or Neve Campbell. I'm never sure which one it is, but Neve or Neve Campbell from Scream. And Bonnie is quiet, painfully shy. She covers herself up, and we later discover she's got like burns over her body and she's having treatment for it. And it's her fondest wish more than anything. She wants to be healed. And I definitely felt sorry for her. And she had a really interesting character arc. It was one of the better written character arcs in this film, I think, what happened with her. So the plot, with some minor spoilers, you can always fast forward ahead. I'll try and put a chapter in for you if you don't want any spoilers, is that the girls recruit Sarah to their coven and it's not too long before they go too far with the magic. The magic's working, they use it to take revenge on people, and then they push it too far. The three girls who were already part of the coven don't seem that bothered by this, but Sarah starts to wonder if there will be consequences for using their power in this way. They're warned by a magic shop owner played by Assumpta Serna, who I think is a Spanish star, and she does an excellent job in her role, that whatever they put out into the universe will come back to them ×3. So if they're using their power in this negative way, it will come back to them ×3. And again, Sarah's really worried about this, but the other girls don't seem to care that much. So they ignore this and continue doing more and more powerful magics, trying to channel an ancient pagan nature deity called Manon, who's more powerful than God or the devil. After things go more and more awry, Sarah decides that she wants to leave the group. But will they let her go? So talking about what's good, there are some great shots in the film. There's a really interesting shot. This sounds really gruesome, but a man gets run over and you see the shot from underneath the car. And I've never seen that before. And I just thought it was a really interesting way of doing things. And it stayed with me after the film. I'm not saying I particularly enjoyed that shot, but there was something about it that was just interesting. And there's lots of little shots like that in this film. The settings are really nice, all the locations are well thought out, all the buildings are interesting, the costumes are really well done, and it's got a great aesthetic. It's good to look at. My favourite shot in the whole film is a shot of a shadow of a wrought iron gate with curling wrought iron pieces that turn into snakes, and I just loved how that was done. I thought that was brilliant. I also enjoyed the music and just the general vibe of everything, and if you were going to watch the film just for its aesthetic, I think you'd really enjoy it. So why the bad scores on Rotten Tomatoes? Well, there's a few issues. One of the things is the themes. There's not really a clear theme in this movie apart from don't misuse magic. It sets itself up like it's going to be a film about female empowerment and sisterhood. And I actually thought it was going to end with them realising they don't want power in this way and working together to kind of fight back Manon or stop him doing something really evil, but that's not what happened. So a bit more of a spoiler. Towards the end, this kind of descends into cliches about high school girls being mean to each other, but with magic, which is a shame because I think some better themes were set up. So the second issue is that even though this is advertised as a horror, I don't think many people might see it as a horror from the poster and kind of the high school setting. And it's a mild to medium horror. It's not really gory or anything or really scary, but it does deal with some definitely upsetting themes. And I wonder if people might have gone into it with slightly the wrong idea of what they were getting. This is definitely a step up from your average episode of Buffy. So I've read some reviews, and a lot of people have complained about the plot, and I'd have to agree with that. That is the thing for me that could really be improved in this film. It's fine to start with and then veers off after the halfway point. Everything's actually set up quite well, but then it really goes off the rails towards the end. Again, another spoiler. I'm sorry, I can't really dissect this film without giving some spoilers. One of the characters, I won't say which one, you can guess, becomes a full-on murdering psychopath, and it just seems like too much of a push. I know what they were doing, they kind of set it up, but it just doesn't work for me how full on it goes. I would have liked it if they had done more with the warning from the magic shop owner, everything coming back to them threefold. I would have liked it actually if they kept them together and tried to get them to maybe turn things around for the better, but maybe it's too late, maybe the damage is already done and they have to do something drastic to put things back to normal. So whatever critics thought of it at the time, it has developed a cult following, and there is something about it. I would definitely watch it again. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie of all time, but it's definitely better than a 57% on Rotten Tomatoes. I would actually put it in the 70s. I'd probably give it a 72 or a 75%. Yes, there are some plotting issues, but the originality, the effects, the aesthetic, the performances are all really good, if not a bit OTT at times, and it's been hugely influential. I read a lot of posts from people saying The Craft was the first film that really got them into kind of witchcraft and horror, which we have to remember wasn't really a big thing at all in the 80s. People were quite scared of it, and it had a big resurgence in the 90s, and this film is one of the reasons why. So it's a recommend from me. I'll be completely honest, it's not the best film ever made. You'll be able to find some problems with it when you watch, but the spectacle, the aesthetic, the originality, all combines into this really interesting package. So if you fancy a high school horror with a great aesthetic, terrific casting that help bring witchcraft back to the mainstream, I would seriously give this one a go. It's better than the Rotten Tomatoes score suggests. Okay, thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.